Where's the weirdest place you've made a friend and how did it happen? On an airplane while flying to Paris. This adorable old lady was seated next to me, and while we were taking off, she started crying. I looked at her and asked her what was the reason of her being sad. She answered, and we ended up chatting the whole flight for 45 minutes. She reminded me a lot of my grandmother. Weird thing is she has the same name as my grandmother. We exchanged numbers and kept updating each other from time to time. And then she invited me to come visit her in Washington, D.C., and I ended up going. We still talk from time to time. She's so adorable. Heard a good one on Reddit. This guy was in army training and the Sarge yelled out, "Are you ready?" And a voice down the line yelled, "I can't hear you." They both got kicked out of the course for laughing, and one of them was best man at the other's wedding. On Facebook comments. We realized we hated the same person and have been friends ever since. At a conference for adult survivors of childhood cancer. We clicked right away. I thought I must have known him in a past life or something. Later I realized I had a picture of myself from 1997 receiving chemotherapy in a ward room, and my friend was in the background also receiving chemo. A man dating my ex contacted me through social media after they had a bad argument and asked me for pointers on dealing with her. I helped coach him through aspects of their relationship. He was a super nice and he genuinely liked her and wanted to make it work. They eventually broke up, but he and I remained friends. I was bummed out it didn't work. I was rooting for them. On the beach in Florida, got crowded, everyone had speakers going, but we liked his 80s tunes the most, so we asked him to come over and turn it up. Talked so long I forgot to reapply my sunscreen and got crispy. Worth it though, because now we're all good friends. Sonic the Hedgehog forum in 2003? 2004? X200B, best friends even today. Social media anonymous friends I've never seen and don't know care what they look like, yet have more in common with than most IRL. Rocky Horror Picture Show. The Narrow in Norfolk Inn, 1990 or thereabouts. There's a water gun fight during the rain scene. Guy in the row ahead of me and going nuts, the water gun spraying down the rows behind. Girl sitting in the row behind me is trying to grab the water gun. Her friends flip her over the seat row, she ends up in my lap. Stays for the rest of the show as I explain the bits and call and responds to her as she was a virgin to the show. We've been friends ever since. I had recently moved to a new city to take a job. While at the job, two random dudes were talking about Dungeons and Dragons in the elevator, and I asked, "Do you play 3 or 3.5? They were playing 3.5, and I have played D&D with them weekly for 10 years now. I also ended up being a groomsman in both of their weddings. I used to go on Roblox religiously in middle school. My main game of the time was Swordburst Online and I put hundreds of hours into it. At one point, I was going around giving players free items to free up some inventory space. One person that I found was on the first floor by themselves, and I gave them a rare drop. A decade later, they are my closest friend to this day. In the butt, Bob. I accidentally crashed into her car. She was hugging me over and over at the accident, and the cop was like, "I assume you two know each other?" We were like, "Nah." First time meeting. Peeing in a barn at a field party in HS. In a midnight train going anywhere. The dole queue at the job center. We were just queuing and got talking. Banging his wife on the side. In line at a buffet. I sang just a little bit for my fair lady and she kept singing the song. We ended up singing and harmonizing show tunes through the line and every time we met. Made a friend in out-of-state job training. Turns out we were from the same state and office and were both going to be working together. I found her sitting alone at lunch, looking upset. I asked why, and she said other trainees were cheating during the final exam, and they were disrespectful to those who were trying to listen throughout the class, so it was a slap in the face for them to pass while others struggled after doing the work and studying. I asked if she wanted to report them to the training director. She said no, she was too afraid of backlash. I offered to do it for her, and she said okay. So, long story short, I walked into his office and ratted out the little shits, feeling no remorse whatsoever. He thanked me for pointing out a flaw in their system that he was unaware of. Me and my new friend were lunch buddies and besties after that. I hate seeing nice people cry because of idiots like that. Pretty sure they got fired. The most unusual is probably the former webcam OnlyFans girl I used to occasionally buy from who wanted to keep in touch once she quit.